Palestinian refugee camp was hit. Okay, let's get more on this. Jalal Abu Keita is a Palestinian writer and an activist. He joins us now from occupied East Jerusalem. I appreciate you speaking to us on Al Jazeera. I want to take you back a few days. Were you or anyone you know involved in those crackdowns by Israeli police at the Al-Aqsa Mosque?
Not myself on the night where the videos of the extreme violence came out, but in Ramadan, it is quite a common practice for most of us who are able to go to Al-Aqsa for group prayers. That is either Friday prayers, but most importantly, every night there are Taraweeh prayers, which is the night prayer. It starts from around 8 p.m. until 10:30, 11. I've been to several of those prayers. On the night of the extreme violence, I know people who were there. I know people who got detained, mass arrested. Myself, I tried to enter Al-Aqsa for the morning prayer on that morning, 5 hours after the brutal crackdown, but we were prevented and denied entry at the gates of the old city, not even Al-Aqsa's gates.
And I believe that was because of your age, right? Anyone under the age of 40 is now not allowed to go in. How does that make you feel?
Indeed, this is something the Israelis have been trying for a long time to prove to us Palestinians that they are the ones in control and they are the ones. Well, they are the occupation authorities, but they want to show the amount of control they have over our lives and our access to places of worship in our city, in our occupied city. So the position of such age restrictions, of course, it's difficult to accept, but at the same time, it is a reality of occupation. This is a brutal occupation that rules over us through force, and the imposition of age restrictions over entry to this holy site, Al-Aqsa Mosque, is just another character of the Israeli occupation in East Jerusalem.
Can you give us a sense of what you're feeling or what you felt when you saw those images of those police, Israeli police, beating down with batons those Muslims who were praying inside Al-Aqsa, right in the middle of Ramadan, which of course is an extremely holy month? What does it make you feel? What does it make you think?
Indeed, I'm a regular in Jerusalem, and I've seen the first few days in Jerusalem. They were different than perhaps last year's Ramadan and the year before. In 2021, Israeli occupation authorities started Ramadan by doing extreme provocations of blocking people's access in public spaces in Jerusalem, such as blocking Damascus Gate, and there was the imminent threat of forcible evictions in Sheikh Jarrah and elsewhere. But this year, I believe, and many others believe the same, that Israeli occupation authorities were busy elsewhere. They were busy with the anti-government protests that were taking place perhaps in the western side of the city or in Tel Aviv or elsewhere. And the first week or so of Ramadan was peaceful and was celebratory in a very nice and festive way. It was very spiritual. People were conducting prayers. But at the same time, the fact that the Israelis kept harassing any worshippers who choose to stay and do i'tikaf at Al-Aqsa. I'tikaf means doing overnight prayers. It's a seclusion. It's a Muslim practice to pray in Ramadan, especially during the night, to conduct prayers throughout the night for a spiritual purpose. So they've been preventing those people from doing i'tikaf since the beginning of Ramadan, and not many have been observing this, but every few days we would see Israeli police forces entering and forcibly removing those worshippers. They would threaten them with arrest. They would threaten them with force, and they would walk out, forcing those worshippers to leave Al-Aqsa completely at night. Some worshippers returned for the morning prayers, but this was happening since the beginning of Ramadan. The fact is that the Israelis they didn't want to back down on this policy of emptying Al-Aqsa at night, and they would use force if necessary, and they've used extreme and brutal force, as we've seen in the nights of Tuesday and Wednesday, just 2 nights ago. They've used extreme force on unarmed worshippers who were inside Al-Aqsa Al-Qibli Hall, and the fact that those armed and armored forces are attacking unarmed worshippers, women and men and children, and it's just incredible the fact that they are willing to send militarized forces to kick out worshippers in such an ugly way. This would be condemned all across the world. This is like a midnight mass getting attacked by the military of a foreign occupation army. It was just unsettling in every way and unacceptable in every way.
Jalal, I want to ask you, you are a university graduate, you are 28 years old, I believe. What is life like for you living as a Palestinian? I believe you're a writer and an activist. What is life like for you in occupied East Jerusalem?
We do think that our existence here, it's quite difficult. It is a city that we feel a strong belonging to this place and a strong association with our city, Al-Quds, Jerusalem. We feel a connection to the history, to thousands of years of history in this place. But at the same time, we know that our existence itself is a threat to the Zionist and the Israeli plans for Jerusalem and for Palestine. For example, my family's lived in Jerusalem since before Israel was established. We still have homes that we cannot go back to in the western side of Jerusalem. Those homes are now populated by Jewish settlers, and we're not able to claim back those homes. But at the same time, those same settlers are coming back to kick us out from our homes in East Jerusalem. That's why we're seeing in Silwan and in Sheikh Jarrah and many other places where there's constant threats of forcible evictions. There are constant cases of demolitions. 1/3 of us Palestinian Jerusalemites, 1/3, that's almost 100,000 Palestinians, live in what's considered to be illegal construction because Israeli authorities in Jerusalem do not wish to grant Palestinians building permits or do not wish to approve any kind of master plan for the city of Jerusalem for neighborhoods that accommodate Palestinians. And we end up with a situation where settlements get expanded by thousands of new units, and we are confined in small spaces and ghettoized communities, and our existence is under threat. So we're fighting for our existence literally in every way in the city, whether it's Al-Aqsa or at.
Sorry to interrupt you. You mentioned that your family go way back in Jerusalem. How do you think your generation of young Palestinians is different from your parents' generation when it comes to the occupation, and how you see the future, especially in light of the changing Israeli government?
Every generation has, of course, their way of claiming their identity, of proclaiming their identity in Jerusalem and elsewhere in Palestine. We've seen different stages, but for us Palestinians today in Jerusalem, we know that this is the last stand for a Palestinian Jerusalem, and we know that the threat and attack on Palestinians in Jerusalem is coming from every direction, whether it's Israeli government ministries or the Israeli municipality in Jerusalem, occupation, militarized forces in our streets, the policies of restricting construction and all that. So for us, the fact that we continue to live in the city and find any way possible to make a life possible in this place, this is a form of resistance. Being and existing in Jerusalem as Palestinians is a form of resistance. This is defying their plans to make it by force a Jewish majority city where we are a minority and we are pushed to the sidelines. By existing here, we are resisting. This is what most young Palestinian Jerusalemites believe. This is why you see such a strong like a strong outcome for defending Al-Aqsa, because Al-Aqsa is a space, it's a symbolic space for us Palestinians in Jerusalem. So when we defend such a space, we are defending our existence in the city, and this is people have a strong conviction for this. I think the younger generations are even more committed to their presence in the city than in the past.
Jalal Abu Kata, really good to speak to you, Palestinian writer and activist who lives in the occupied East Jerusalem. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.